problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But that
dude hits hard.
Robert, oh sorry, when you done.
Yeah, so that one's with the eye, Robert. Okay.
Yeah.
Answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First. Jack Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, Fiat.
Joe Rogan has never been one to censor his thoughts, and his latest reaction to Anthony Joshua sparring Oleksandr Usyk ahead of Jake Paul's fight has sent shockwaves through the combat sports world. On his podcast, Rogan broke down the strange yet fascinating matchup dynamics, questioning why two of boxing's elite heavyweights would be involved in preparation for a spectacle-driven bout centered around Paul. Blending skepticism, respect, and his signature blunt honesty, Rogan left fans buzzing over what this unexpected training connection could signal, not just for Jake Paul, but for the future direction of boxing itself.
There's not a chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very...
Instead of preparing in the UK with his usual team under trainer Ben Davison, Joshua revealed at a recent press conference that he would train alongside members of Usyk's camp as part of his build-up for the December 19th fight in Miami. He described the collaboration as phenomenal and demanding, praising the quality and success of Usyk's team while clarifying that the Ukrainian champion himself was not sparring him on a daily basis.
To find the belief in yourself, not in somebody else's system. You know what I mean? It's like Usyk's team might show him bits and bats of stuff. He doesn't box like Usyk. Can they train AJ to be similar to what Usyk's doing? AJ, you've got to pick out the best of what AJ does, and you've got to pick out the worst and improve the worst in him. And I'll say it time and time again. For me, the best trainer he ever had was Robert McGregor. It might not be what people want to hear, but he had him from the stages in the amateurs, from being a young mind, brought him through, guided. He had a good view of what the competition was out there, where to put him, you know, where to manoeuvre him, when to take fights, when not to take fights. And he'd invested a lot of time in him, Robert McGregor. So it was a payoff. Now when you go to, you know, if AJ came here or he goes to Ben Davis, you know, you're going to be in for a big payday as a trainer. It's a lot of responsibility to take on. You know, Ben Davis is a good trainer. He's trained AJ for so many fights, brought him back, he'll have got paid handsomely. Everybody wants to train AJ because it's a good payday. So, but sometimes you have to think to yourself, are you capable of training that fighter? You know, people have come to me wanting me to train. I said, to be honest, we're not going to match. You know, what I want to do and what I want you to do is not going to work. So I just think AJ is looking for that.
Working with experienced members of Usyk's camp, Anthony Joshua is sharpening both his offense and defense across the board. Observers note his relentless commitment to improvement. Whether refining footwork, improving timing, or tightening combinations, his approach is purposeful yet adaptable, allowing him to experiment within a controlled structure. The camp also provides sparring partners who mirror realistic fight scenarios, keeping Joshua sharp and responsive. As fight night approaches, every session carries greater weight, strengthening both his physical readiness and mental focus. His routine highlights his understanding that detailed preparation and tactical growth are vital at the highest level of boxing.
Simon, I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Oleksandr Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, pause.
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do a little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm to have him, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously after the Usyk fight, he's come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helenius, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the box rec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where what you've just said then, Spencer, like match him right. I felt he was matched right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just felt
obviously I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8-rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been...
But it's not about his
capable.
physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksandr Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Dion.
While Joshua hasn't been consistently sparring Usyk himself, he has fully immersed in the Ukrainian champion's training environment, learning from elite coaches who guided Usyk to becoming a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion and absorbing insights from their high-level boxing system. Joshua has said the move offers valuable perspective from someone who has achieved so much, viewing it as an important step in fine-tuning his approach against Paul's unconventional style.
Into that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul.
AJ's been in camp with Usyk.
Take this seriously for it to get fucked off at the final minute.
What better camp to go join than the master himself?
What he's doing is he knows that he's got, 1, maybe 2 years left, maybe 2 years. So he's gone to the Usyk camp. There's motivation behind that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're not going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul. But he's going to that camp for the future of next year, where he could be fighting Dubois.
Conor McGregor has also weighed in on the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup with a blunt and cautious viewpoint, warning that the fight is extremely dangerous and, in his opinion, probably shouldn't happen at all. McGregor described Joshua as a heavy-hitting force with serious power and championship depth, stressing that anyone willing to make that walk deserves respect, while still acknowledging the real physical risks Paul faces. Despite his doubts, McGregor said he would respect Paul if he truly commits, even as he questions whether such a crossover bout makes sporting sense.
He's gonna get knocked out by AJ though, isn't he?
If he makes that walk, you've got to give him his respect for that. It's very dangerous, you know. It seems like Netflix are all over him. It's a dangerous sport, and you can't overlook that. And Joshua's a big boy and a powerhouse. I've sat ringside and watched Joshua. That's a heavy punching man, and he's a happy and he's a good kid. He has an anger in him. He has a darkness in him, does Anthony Joshua. And I don't think a lot of people suss that. So, the fight shouldn't go ahead. In my opinion, the fight shouldn't go ahead.
UFC President Dana White added fuel to the debate with a sharp critique of the highly anticipated Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, labeling it a mismatch that threatens the integrity of professional boxing. Never one to shy away from controversy, White questioned the legitimacy of pairing a former world heavyweight champion with a YouTube star turned boxer. His comments ignited heated discussions online, with fans split on whether the bout is clever promotion or a hollow spectacle. White argued that while celebrity fights may draw massive numbers, they risk turning boxing into entertainment-first theater rather than a true measure of skill and experience.
Around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative. expensive, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, I don't know, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out, would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikita, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax.
Professional boxer Liam Cameron weighed in on public expectations surrounding the fight, noting that most fans expect Joshua to dominate due to his Olympic background and extensive professional resume. Cameron added that some viewers may even enjoy a one-sided contest, anticipating moments that highlight the skill gap. However, this outlook places pressure on Paul to show adaptability, toughness, and flair. Cameron's insight highlights how audience psychology shapes crossover bouts, influencing both promotion and how fighters approach their performances.
I don't like Jake Paul. AJ's going to do you a favour because he's going to flatten him. But big props to that Jake Paul for getting it ring with him. Listen to this, he's a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. Don't have to box. And he's fighting him. He's either a madman or he knows something we don't know. But people like saying, oh, I wouldn't take this Jake Paul fight. Listen, every boxer on the planet would fight Jake Paul for money. I'd fight Anthony Joshua for money. I'd get flattened, but I'd fight him. So yeah, I think people sometimes have to watch what they say and think about it.
Boxing analyst Joey Knight delivered one of the strongest cautions regarding Jake Paul's motivations and possible outcomes. Knight suggested that Paul's primary driver is attention and viral exposure rather than traditional professional ambition. This doesn't imply a lack of preparation, but it frames the fight within the broader trend of entertainment-led boxing. Knight emphasized the contrast between Joshua's pursuit of technical excellence and legacy versus Paul's focus on visibility and engagement, adding deeper layers to the narrative and uncertainty surrounding the matchup.
A lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small tall guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring. What happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English...
Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer has publicly recognized the impact Jake and Logan Paul have had on modern boxing, particularly in attracting younger audiences and renewed interest. Buffer noted that their high-profile appearances have injected energy and excitement that traditional boxing has struggled to generate, drawing in viewers who might not otherwise watch. While purists still question crossover legitimacy, Buffer believes the Paul brothers' ability to build hype, tell stories, and capture mainstream attention can't be ignored. By expanding boxing's audience and media reach, they've helped grow the sport's platform. Buffer views this evolution positively, suggesting boxing thrives when promotion and competition work together to honor tradition while welcoming new fans.